Yeah, is that going?
And we are live.
Okay. Hi.
Hello.
Hello from TD
Hello.
Towers.
On the sofa.
on
Here
the
we
sofa.
are, live.
In the sunshine.
The
Look at that.
sunshine. Finally, we've been waiting months and months.
Delightful
It
sunshine.
is here today.
It's the end of February, and we usually try and do a. Can you shut the door, please, guys? We usually try and do a Q&A once a month. Give an opportunity for our investors, for our clients to get on Facebook and speak to us, and we'll field some live questions and give you a bit of an update about what we're doing and how things are going at Thirlmere Deacon.
Yeah, and if you've got any questions in relation to anything that we say here, just send us a message. You know, you can send us a message now live, and if we get it, we'll try and answer it straight away. But we do actually have a few questions.
We've got a few questions loaded up.
From
Steve, feel free to take a couple of pictures as well from
No
your.
First question here is.
Should we go straight into? We're going straight
Can
into
do
the
if you'd like
questions.
to.
Yeah,
Is
why
there
not?
anything else you'd like to share with the folks at home?
No, I think we're all right. I think we should go straight into the questions then. Why not?
Okay, first question is from user Figure Striking. Hi all, I'm 18 and yet to become a plumber by end of next year after college.
Yep.
But I don't see this job as a long-term steady income. Plus, I've always wanted to get into property, whether that's flipping houses or anything to make good cash. I'm looking for any kind of advice that could help me achieve my lifetime goal of becoming financially stable and secure. Any advice or books, I'd appreciate any sort of help. Thank you.
Great.
Yeah.
18 years old.
Brilliant.
Already got long-term life goals, which is fantastic. That is that's
excellent.
a good forethought and good planning from yourself. Figure striking. So look, the questions that you're asking are you know, they're quite intelligent questions. What are the books you should be reading? What advice have we got? You'll also go, you're training to become a plumber as well. That's going to help when you're setting up your property. What you got there? You do a screenshot. When you're doing your, if you're getting into the property market, if you've got a trade, you're always going to be able to cut costs. You know, if you're doing your own properties, if you're doing some flipping, if you're doing some renovations, etc. If you can actually muck in and get your hands dirty as well, you're going to cut your costs down quite a lot. So that's a great idea.
Yeah. It's a great. Any skill like that is brilliant to have. Almost as eventually one day when you're, you're earning a lot of money from your property portfolio, to have that as a side hustle as well. It's just brilliant. So. Yeah, fantastic that you're getting those qualifications. The bit about any advice that could help you become financially stable and secure, I guess it's you need to work out what you need to be
What does that mean? What does that mean to you? Right?
Is that you need £1,000 a month, or is it you need £30,000 a month? It's different for everyone. So you almost need to work that out and then work back from there.
Very interesting you say that, because Oliver, if you ask any of the guys in the office here, that's the sort of consultative question that we ask our investors, clients that call us up and are looking at our property options. We ask them, those exact things. What is it you're looking to achieve? You want to be financially free. Great. What does that mean? How much does that have to take, etc., etc. So go back and just recalibrate and find out exactly what those goals are and those numbers are, and then work backwards from there to see how you can achieve it.
Yeah, and I think really is, I know you're looking at flipping houses and passive income, that sort of thing. Flipping's great, but where the real wealth from property comes is holding it long term. You get your passive income, and that enables you to become financially free, and that's when you see the real growth, isn't it? Those people that have done really well in property have held it for long periods of time. So the fact that you're looking at it now, age 18, is brilliant. And the second part of the question, Stu, was any advice on books?
Books. There are so many good property books, so many good investment books for getting into property, etc. One that really did help me quite a lot was more about when we were starting the company and we were getting the company off the ground and things like that. Our dear old friend Rob Moore from Progressive Property, he's written a book called Start Now, Get Perfect Later, which is a great tool to allow you to sort of get rid of all the dead weight and just go for it. Start doing it. Get on the track and just start going. A lot of time is wasted in indecision and trying to plan this and plan that. And yes, you need to plan. But you know, also need to get going. You know, that's the main thing. A lot of clients come back to us and say, oh, you know, I'm looking to buy my first property maybe in a couple of years and blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to do some training beforehand and learn this course and go on that course. When in actual fact, the best training is on the ground, doing it, getting involved and making mistakes as you go along, because that's always going to happen, but it's best to get those out of the way early.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the books I'd recommend...
Did you say, Stephen, that they can hear us? Or
just
speak up a bit.
Speak a bit louder.
Yeah, and I'm sure everybody will say this, is for me, Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yeah.
I know it's quite sort of old-fashioned, you know, it's been around a long time now. And a lot of people have repeated that messaging in different books in slightly different ways, but the general premise is solid for me. I think, you know,
totally agree.
Use your assets and the passive income to pay for your liabilities. So if you want to buy a nice car, you buy a property that gives you income that pays monthly for that car. You know, so do you agree with that?
I totally agree. I mean, I was going to also say I wrote an article. Where did we write an article? We wrote an article for a magazine last month. And the end caption that I put in there was quite pleased with, was when your investments are paying for your investments, that's when it gets really exciting.
Yeah.
So that was that's a step on from.
Fantastic. Well, that's it. You know, if you're buying some properties, the properties grow in value.
Yeah.
You've put your initial pot of money, property grows in value. You refinance the property, release some equity, and that buys another property.
Yeah.
You've only invested that first pot of cash. So, and then you can do that again.
That seed capital,
and then again, and then again, and again, and again.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
It is. There's one other book that's just come to mind called The Millionaire Next Door, which is a very, very good one. Have a look. I can't remember who the author is, but The Millionaire Next Door is a very good sort of bird's eye view of investment and how to manage your cash.
Yeah.
Good one.
Yeah, there's plenty. I mean, you know, you jump on Facebook groups, forums. There's thousands of self-education books, and I think the more you can read, doesn't matter what it is, it doesn't have to be property related. You know, the more you can educate yourself. You know, I think it's Warren Buffett actually. Someone said to him once, "What was the best investment you ever made?" And it was actually a public speaking course with Dale Carnegie. And so basically, what he's saying is invest in yourself. Yeah. That's the best investment you can make, because the knowledge that you gain from these investments, you know, be it time in books or going on courses or whatever, it can really help you throughout your life and in later life. So,
totally agree.
Yeah, educate yourself as much as you can.
Good.
But yeah, thank you. Great question.
Very good question, and good luck. Anybody else has any suggestions? Anyone has any further comments or other books or recommendations to put across? Please feel free to comment or make a suggestion.
Yeah, cool. Next question here is we're in the process of selling our flat, and yesterday we got a call from our agent saying that we need to ask our solicitors to do a contract variation for our leasehold / ground rent, as new laws have come in, which means that it's not mortgageable with the current agreement.
Right.
The agent said he'd done this before, and it's effectively more money to the solicitors to sort out, which for me is fine, but my other half is worried that we'll have to pay huge amounts to do this in fines or payouts. Has anyone experienced doing this recently? Is it just a renegotiation of contract? Any help appreciated? And this is from 5 Pygmy Goats. Good name.
Very good name.
Yeah.
What's your advice on that, OT?
You know what? I'll be completely honest. It's not something I'm aware of changes. I'm not aware of this situations so specific like this.
Yeah.
What I would say is, when it comes to legal situations, the best thing you can do is speak to your solicitor, speak to your lawyer.
Yeah.
You know, it's great jumping on Facebook groups, but you can end up with, you know,
advice
from one.
Yeah.
That, you know, sometimes it can be a little bit confusing. So pick up the phone, have a quick chat to your solicitor. I mean, you know, the agent obviously is saying one thing. Who knows whether they're right in what they're saying.
Yeah.
Really need to speak to the solicitor about this.
Speak to your solicitor, get the right legal advice on it, and that's the way forward, I would say.
Absolutely.
Sure. Hope that helps. 5 Pygmy Goats.
Next up we've got here. Hi all, our property management company's worth it. Hi
Yeah,
all,
that's a good
I'm
question.
looking for some buy-to-lets far away from me, so I'm looking at hiring a property management company to manage them for me at a 10% cut of the rent. Seeing as I'll still be signing off costs and dealing with the management company,
Yeah.
I'm wondering if it's still worth it, if the time saved by hiring them is worth the money, or do you not actually save a lot of time and you still need to be quite involved? And that's from Pursuing Betterment.
Your name says it all.
Yeah.
Look, I would say a good property management company are worth their weight in gold. I mean, if it stops you from getting the call that we've all had as landlords that the sink's broken or
I've lost my keys.
the boiler's gone. No,
boiler's
the keys
gone,
thing, yeah,
keys
the
thing,
boiler's
or-
gone. If they can be that sort of breakwater between you and the tenant and the never-ending issues that come up, then they're worth their weight in gold, and it's worth paying for good service and good quality like that. We have heard of, I'm sure if you've been in the industry for long enough, you've heard of property companies or management companies who haven't done it very well, and it does just end up being an extra cost for not much more service.
Yeah.
So you've got to do your research, make sure you understand who you're working with, what their track record is, and have they got happy clients, etc., etc. So I think if you find a good one, they're very, very, very
Worth the weight in
valuable.
gold.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's worth putting a value on your time.
Yes, that's
if,
a good one.
If it's gonna, like Stu said, if they're gonna be calling you up, and if you live miles away, you're gonna have to drive up there potentially. Here's the spare key to let you in because you've lost your keys, or get a locksmith to sort it, or assess the problem. For example, they might ring you up. I've had it before where, when I did self-manage, ring me up. It was a place I got in Birmingham. I was living in Leicester at the time, so about hour and a half drive away. Tenant rings me up, the washing machine's not working. Okay, spoke to a few plumbers, cost of X, Y, and Z to go and look at it. I thought, you know what, I'll just drive over there. All it was user error. Nothing wrong with the washing machine. So if you've got a management company, they can deal with that. So that took me half a day to go there and back.
Just click reset on the washing machine.
Anyway, so I'm a firm believer, and she's absolutely right though. A good management company is great. If you get a bad one, it's not great. But how do you find a good one? Like Stu said, look at the reviews. It's hard to obviously speak to other landlords, but you can find enough information online.
Yeah.
There should be a member of the Property Redress Scheme, PRS. You'll see the purple logos, possibly the Property Ombudsman as well, that we're a member of. So yeah, it's do your research on the company, but 10%. If you're looking at a few buy-to-lets, you might be able to negotiate that down a little bit, maybe even 8%. But the good thing about it is, by working with a management company, you're not limiting yourself to just where you live.
Very, very good point. We speak to a lot of investors, a lot of potential investors as well, who say, well, I want something within a 10, 20 mile radius of where I live. And the question there is why? If you get a good property management company, you shouldn't really need to. It could be on the moon, as long as the numbers stack up and the demand is there. It really should be a different sort of question for you. And that brings me on to a good percentage of our investors, a good percentage of buyers that we work with are not in the UK at all. So that's why we actually connect investors with good management companies. We usually package these things together. So an off-plan option may be, for example, with a management agreement involved, and that works quite well. Goes hand in hand, allows for sort of hands-off investment, and allows you to sleep at night a little bit better.
Yeah, and one of the key word around all of this is investment. You are an investor. Do you want to be an investor, or do you want to be a landlord? Because there's two different things. If you want to be a
real
landlord,
distinction in that, isn't it?
That's a whole other job. If you've got a job, you're busy full time, and then you're having to manage a property portfolio, you're just creating more work for yourself, where you can actually outsource that, pay somebody else 8% or 10% or even 12%. I pay 12% to one of my agents, but they're absolutely fantastic. I don't deal with anything. Brilliant. Property's making money. I've not seen it for probably 4 years. It's fantastic. So I think it's well worth it. So
great to hear.
In short, I think absolutely.
Definitely do some research, dig deep, and see what they what their past clients are saying about them. But if they are good, give them a go.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Thank you for that question. And last but by no means least, what adds value to a property?
Yeah.
This is a flat, not a house. So no option for adding a conservatory or changing the layout too much. No option for adding a bedroom. Any other internal changes that you can suggest to add value? That's from Victoria 289.
Victoria 289. Well, that
Good question.
That is a very good question, and it takes me back to 2009 when I bought my first property, which was a flat. We couldn't do a huge amount to it. We couldn't extend. We couldn't build out on the balcony. We were limited to the footprint of the property, but we were able to add value in doing. We bought a property that actually, did need some work. It was okay. It was livable. It was rentable, but it did need some work. It did need some updating. So we spent the bulk of the money on bathroom, kitchen, and we did a nice sort of whitewash type, neutral throughout. Changed the floors, etc. But the kitchen and the bathroom, I think, always make a property. So if you're limited to the options that you have, spend that money on the kitchen and the bathroom. It's going to uplift the value as best as possible. And obviously, there is always the other thing of time. Give it some time and let it creep up in value, depending on where it is, of course.
Yeah, and I think if you're, when you're listing a property for sale, I mean, we're not an estate agency here, so I'm sure estate agents will give you some good advice on this. But it's it's common knowledge that if your property is presented in a nice condition, when you're showing people around, you can get a slight premium for it, or at least what you're looking for. So put nice furniture in there, nice decorating.
Or add to that, or at least be a better competitor in the market. If you're up against another property, if yours is dressed slightly nicer, it puts you sort of a nose ahead.
And even if you let's say you bought the property to renovate it and sell it, and you don't want to waste money on furniture, there's companies out there that will rent you the furniture.
Just for the dressing?
Just for the dressing, yeah. You can rent the furniture, they'll put it in, a lot of them will come in and even they'll set it out and make it nice for you, and then that can be there ready for when people are viewing the property, and they can visualize it rather than an empty bedroom. They can see what it's like with the bed, the bedsides, the chest of drawers, the wardrobe, the living room with the sofa, the dining room, the table. They can see it all, and then when the agents are negotiating the price, they can visualize it. They're emotionally attached to it. People generally come up in a little bit in their price because they want to get it. So renovate it nice, like Stu said, nice kitchen, nice bathroom.
Do what you can. Do what you can to maximise space, etc., etc. But yes, dress it nicely and
And if it's a flat that that's the plan, you can make money when you buy as well. Negotiate a good price. If it needs a lot of work doing to it, obviously you want to be ethical in your negotiating, but start low. If you're having to name the price first, start low and then come up from there. Rule number 1 of negotiation: never name the price first, but if you have to, start low.
Interesting.
But great question.
That is a very good question.
I can't remember who it was from. Sorry,
it was
I lost
from.
It was from Victoria. 289.
Yes, Victoria 289.
Thank you, Victoria.
Again, good questions. Look, keep these questions coming. I think these are, this week was
good questions. Yeah, hopefully it was useful.
Quite varied as well.
Yeah.
And look, if there's anything else that you would like to know, if you have any questions that don't coincide with our lives, just chuck it on our socials. Give us a call in the office here in London, in Dubai. We're happy to help. Stephen, is there anything on that screen at the moment, or there we go.
No.
Yeah. Okay. We've covered everything.
Cool. Fantastic.
Perfect. All right.
Thank you so much.
Hey, listen, a little bit of an update from us here in London is that we have a couple of new projects on at the moment, some good prospects going forward as well. So if you're interested, if you're looking at buy-to-let options and you're looking for something that is fully managed, you're looking for options, we do have quite a few different varied portfolio. Yeah. So I've just painted my... Yeah, great.
A couple of the developments that we have are not actually on the website. We do have off-market opportunities as well. So get in touch. If you are in the market, get in touch. Chances are we'll be able to find you something that suits your strategy, and hopefully we can start working together.
Great stuff.
Cool.
Hey, look forward to hearing from you again. Take care.